Oh my God, allergy season is here. I can't clear my throat to save my life. My car, once silver, is green silver, and my other car, once navy, is the color of the ocean. Hi guys. I gotta tell you about my experience at the vet. Not good. Okay, so I took Cozy over to she has stitches right here in her nose. They opened her nose holes. And so she has stitches on the side. The surgeon that operated on Cozy only comes in once a month because he's kind of like old school, the specialist. The vet that is at my vet's office, she is very young. I'm not particularly, I mean, she's okay, she's okay to give shots and stuff like that. But if there's something really wrong with one of my dogs, I would probably take him up to the hospital because I really don't want somebody who's so inexperienced to be dealing, especially considering Cozy is a swimmer puppy. With swimmer puppies, their legs are like this when they're born. So they're like splayed out. And most puppies nurse on their side, right? And then swimmer puppies nurse on their belly, which disconnects their shoulders in a weird way. It flattens out their chest and it can expose their heart. Her heart was almost completely exposed when I got her. In growing, it has come down a lot, so it's pretty much covered now, which yay. Lots of good stuff. We had this one last hurdle to take her stitches out. She got her stitches she got her nares done, she got her microchip, and she got her spay, because there's no way I would ever breed a swimmer puppy. Okay, so anyway, all that being said, it's been a rough 2 weeks. You saw. I finally took the collar off because it was so full of like dog food and spit up and filth water and running outside with mud. And it was so, and the day, she was supposed to be able to take it off on a Sunday. And Saturday it poured here. And she went outside and would not come back in. So now, because I had her in the soft collar, it's full of, it's full of stuffing. And that collar was it was like hanging off her heavy, and all the dried, yucky, awful dog food that had gotten stuck in it was like now woke up with with fluid on it, woke up, and my house smelled like something was dying in it. And she smelled like something was dying. So I took it off a day early because it was just awful. It was like my pillows, like I didn't want her to sit on my bed because my bed started smelling like a week-old dog food that had sat in the heat and molded. And yeah, it was really nasty. So I took the collar off on Saturday, and she had to go Wednesday to get her stitches out. And because the stitches for her getting fixed were the melt-away ones, but they couldn't do that for the nose because it's a moist area and they wouldn't hold if they had done that. So when I left the surgeon 2 weeks Thursday, he said to me, don't forget to bring her to take her stitches out. They have to come out. I said, okay, not a problem. And then there's a problem. So I show up to get her stitches out, and he's not there. He's away on vacation for 2 weeks, which I don't know this when I get there. But okay, they're just supposed to clip the couple stitches that are in there and then pull them out, right? So here comes the young female veterinarian. Oh, I don't care if she's female. Super young veterinarian. And I don't even know she's a veterinarian or like almost veterinarian. She's so young, and a very young vet tech with a black eye. She said she was having a reaction. Her eye looked horrible. But anyway, poor thing. So, and they just take Cozy and put her up on the vet tech's shoulder. So Cozy's facing that way. And the veterinarian comes around, or whatever she is, the other one comes around with a pair of cuticle scissors. And what do you think? Cozy's going to be like, okay, here. So she's going after her with cuticle scissors, trying to get, and Cozy, of course, is doing this, and the girl's trying to hold her head like this. It was a shit show. They got so close. Oh, oh, these allergies. At one point, the girl holding her just kept grabbing more and more of the scruff of her neck, like pulling it back to kind of push her down on her shoulder. And I don't know if you know, but Pekingese eyes can pop out really easily because they're Pekingese, Pug, Shih Tzus. They all have such a frontal face that they are not deep set. And her eyes were like popping out of her side. I'm like, you know, you better protect her eyes. Plus, they're coming at her with a pair of cuticle scissors. So, of course, she won't let them do it. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, oh, yeah, she's going to sit there while we rip stitches out of her nose. It's her nose, a very sensitive area. And so I'm like, so a couple times I went, stop, because they were like on the verge of and getting frustrated, and they and the eyes are popping and they're doing this. So I said, why don't you get a towel and protect her eyes? I was afraid they were going to gouge her in the eye because they were literally with no protection trying to come at her like this. And I was like, holy shit, like there's only that much space between her eye and her nose because she's a fucking Pekingese. So I'm just like, oh my God. So she's screaming, by the way, and Cozy's just screaming. So I step outside the room. I'm like, I cannot watch this. I go out into the front room and I'm like, panic. My heart's racing. They come out a few minutes later. And this one, by the way, that went on for like almost a half hour where they tried to, but they never tried to like, I would think, and this is, I'm going to try to get these stitches out myself because they're still there. So they walk out. Well, let me finish straight. They walk out and the two of them are like, this isn't going to happen. This is not going to happen. And I'm like, okay. Like, then what's next? You know? And the veterinarian says, we need to sedate her. But we can sedate her and then give her rescue drugs to bring her out really fast. Like, we need to just sedate her. Well, when they sedated her originally, the reason why we got a specialist is because her airway is compromised. She regurgitates water. Like, she spits up water all the time because this is not correct. And now, because she's a swimmer, this is not correct. So I'm like, wait a minute, what? And she's like, yeah, we're just going to put her under, like, and then we have rescue drugs that you pop in them, and it brings them back. Almost like she ingested, like, medicine by accident. And I'm like, now? And they're like, yeah, we're going to do that. And I was like, she's eaten. Like, they made sure that I didn't feed her or give her water the last time they put her under. And there was like, where are you going to do this? And this just seems so haphazard at this point. I'm like scared. So I said, you know what? Give me back my dog. So they handed me back my dog. And I'm like, okay, like thinking in my head, well, if you have to sedate her even quickly, let's do it safely. And then I'm like, because this is all happening like real time. Oh my God, these allergies. It's all happening real time. I'm thinking, what are you, an idiot? Like, you don't do that. That's not how you handle a dog. You don't put them under without even asking if they've had anything to eat or drink. You don't put them under because you're frustrated that you don't know how to fucking get stitches out of a dog. So I So, and then they said, of course, you'll have to pay for the procedure. I was like, listen, this isn't about you making another $1,000 because this is my $4,000 dog at this point. No, she didn't cost me $4,000, but she's cost me $4,000. And like, I can see these idiots handing her back dead saying, oh, yeah, it didn't work out because they have no clue. And I say, because I didn't know he was in Mexico, but I said, where's the surgeon? Because he's the expert. He's the one. Those two, like the vet there, didn't do nares, didn't work with bulldogs. This older guy that did her did. He said, I am the only one here that can put her under, do this, do that, because I've done this before. These two have obviously not done this before. Obviously. So I'm like, well, where's her surgeon? When can I talk to him? And she's like, oh, he's away in Mexico. He won't be here for a really long time. So I said, so let me get this straight, because now I've got Cozy, so she's safe. I'm like, you two don't know what you're doing. And I said this, like, if you think that I held my tongue, you're wrong. I'm like, you two don't know what you're doing. You want to put my dog under. You haven't asked me if she ate. You haven't asked me if she drank water. You don't want to set this up for another day. You want to put her under right now. Real quick, take the stitches out and then hit her up like she OD'd. Is that what you're saying? And they were like, I don't even know what I said. I was cussing so bad too. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I'm like, I could tell when you were in there, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. I'm not comfortable with this at all. And I had made 3 appointments for Pony, Piper, and Cozy to come up, get their heartworm test in May, to come get their heartworm test, their boosters, all that. 3 dogs that I spend so much money in their place for. And I turned to the receptionist, I said, I want you to cancel all 3 of those fucking appointments. This is wrong. You put the stitches in. I paid you a bucket of money and you can't get them out. That's not on me that you don't know how to get stitches out of a dog's face. That's not on me. Go back to school. So I was furious. And Cozy the whole time is like still whimpering. Like that did not help the situation because that made me feel bad like about me and being her mommy. I was like, I shouldn't have let her do this. And I was like, why didn't they papoose her? Just FYI, and I am no vet, and I don't even know if it'll work, but if I had Cozy as my patient, and I was going to try to get stitches out of her face that with the Pekingese literally is that far away from her great big googly eyes, I would have masked her eyes somehow, taken a towel or something, a cloth. I would have put it down over whatever I had to mask her eyes. I would have folded it in. This is what I'm thinking of doing myself. Folding it in, folding the 2 sides so her arms are pinned, her legs are pinned. She's pinned. She is a papoose. When they took stitches from my baby, Jeb, when he was a baby, he had cut this part of it, that little thing. I don't know what it's called. Right here. He had accidentally ripped it and they had to put a stitch in. They papoosed him. They put him in a contraption so he couldn't move. This girl thinks she's going to do it by ripping her fucking fur out on her. Oh, and the whole time, by the way, the whole time she's trying to cut the stitches. I don't even know how she could see them. She's trying to cut the stitches and hold back the other girl's hair. Because the girl's hair was flopping in Cozy's face. It was just such a shit show. So I said, no, this is ridiculously lame. I'm not doing this. I'm leaving. So I gathered up my stuff and walked out. Like, you want to charge me to do some crazy thing? No. So I get in the car. I put her down. She is exhausted. She lays down like That's all she could do, I swear. She was so exhausted and done. And I felt so bad for even putting her through it. I was like, I'm so sorry. Now I'm all upset in the car, you know. So we drive home, and after I get home, I get a phone call from animal hospital, or not my vet. I get a phone call from my vet, and it's the woman, and she said, "Hi, this is Dr. So-and-so, and I just wanted to touch base that, you know, we don't want to put Cozy under again either." Oh, really? You came to like some senses in your brain? Unbelievable. We don't want to put her under. We just, we think you should dribble water on her nose and take the cone, which obviously the cone was off because she only had to have it on for 10 days. But they didn't read that. They didn't read my stuff. They didn't actually look in their file. So you can take her cone off, and believe me that she'll rip them out herself because the water will dissolve them eventually. So now I'm going to call another animal hospital that's up by my work and see if they have anybody there who knows how to take Nair's stitches out. We had not our last Frenchie, the Frenchie before, my family had a Frenchie named Remy who had his Nair's done. And yeah, they didn't have to put him to sleep to get the stitches out. And he had way more stitches than she does. So, obviously, and unfortunately, that vet was my favorite vet of all time. And he moved to Wisconsin to work on bovine. He wanted to work on bigger animals. And I'm really sad he's gone. And by the way, Nair's, this was probably 5 years ago. And Nair's for Remy there was $400, and Nair's for Cozy was $3,500. That's the difference too. So, and there's nobody, like anymore, these vets are so money hungry. You don't find the like neighborhood vet anymore. They don't exist. Like it used to be, you knew your vet, you know, and if your dog was sick and you were, you know, no, now it's all this big business. The vet won't even talk to you about prices. The vet leaves and some chick comes in with this whole thing. You can pick this, this, or this. You can fix your dog, not really fix your dog, or really don't fix your dog. It's a scam anymore. There are no, or in my area, I don't know of any like really good vets that don't behave like this. Don't behave like it's some money machine. And Tim just recently had a cat that had pneumonia, but they didn't know what was wrong with her. And Tim took her back and they did an x-ray and said she had a blockage. And they cut this cat like basically in half. It was a kitten. They basically cut her in half. And then the next day she got a horrible infection. And they gave some antibiotics to Tim for before he got there or something. And so Tim started her on the antibiotics. When she got it, when they took the cat back, the vet tech that was there said, that cat, by the way, your cat did not have a blockage. It had a little piece of stool that they pushed right through. It wasn't blocked at all. I don't know why the vet tech said, I don't know why they cut your cat open. There was nothing wrong. I saw it on the x-ray. There was nothing wrong with your cat. But they look to get the maximum amount of money out of you now that they can. It is such a different game. I'm not saying that all vets are like this. And if you have a good vet, hey, stay there, because I can't seem to find a decent vet. The veterinarian place that I go to now, they have had such a turnover of vets that but the only reason why I stick is because there's no real alternative here. And they're all like ridiculously priced anymore. And thank God, I can pay for it. I won't be the same for a while. Like literally between, a couple things that happened this year, I am out of savings, but that's okay. I'm working, everything's good. It's just that, it didn't used to be like this. It didn't used to be that everything is just meat on a table. I feel like it's like that with my doctor. I'm losing my doctor for my rheumatology and whatnot. And That's breaking my heart. He's the only one that ever listened to me. Everybody else, I'm just a number. And that sucks, you know. It sucks that this is the way life is getting now. I remember when my kids were little, it was funny. I told somebody this the other day. When my kids were little, their pediatrician used to come in. I swear to God, he'd be like, "What's wrong with the kid?" He'd have a cigarette in his mouth. But let me tell you about him. Years and years ago, our children got chicken pox, and there was a snowstorm, and I had not only my three, I had Wolf's sister's youngest, and I was stuck in a snowstorm with very sick children, and he drove out. He came to see me, didn't charge me extra, brought me antibiotics, because they all had like ear infections, this and that, and those days seem to be gone. The days of the doctor hitting your house are gone. The days of doctors calling you to make sure you're right. You know, doesn't happen very often. Maybe some, but that's dying out. And that's a shame it's dying out, because there's no human connection with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a real shame. I want to say that Cozy's actual surgeon called me 3 times. He called me the night I brought her home. He called me the next day, and he called me like 4 days later to make sure she was healing well. That's the kind of, he was older. That's the kind of stuff you can't put a price tag on, because that made me feel good. And the fact that he's not here to fix what's wrong now is very upsetting. So I am going to do my best. I am also posting this crazy place. In case you live in Cecil County, I want you to know that this is, if you can find an alternative vet, find one. This is not the place. The surgeon that comes once a month is fabulous. Everybody else there, not everybody, I mean, I don't know, receptionists and all, but the other vets, no. You call me up and say, "Oh, you know, we thought about it. It's a bad idea to put Cozy through another anesthesia." Well, you almost did it. Like, it would have been too late had you done it. Yeah, so now I got to find somebody. But anyway, that's my story. Just wanted to fill you in. So I love you guys. I got to run to work. It's been a really busy week. I'm running up to vacation time, which will be so nice. I love you guys. Bye.